How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. Well, you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. Why did the Oreo go to the dentist? Because he lost his fillings. Not too bad. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN. We have a continuation of the volatility inside of this play. We see there's a strong sell-off that is happening, and I'm getting those questions. Dre, should I go in there and buy the dip right now? It is so cheap right now. So you know what? I'm going to be talking about that inside this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be going over the price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance and those key levels that we want to look out for in a bullish case scenario and as well as in a bearish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. As far as the short interest is concerned, we know it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $10.06, being down 20.97%. On the low, it tested $9.55, and then on the high, testing $11.48. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 96.488 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 102.882 million shares. So it was fairly close to the average, but you can see we dealt with a tremendous amount of selling pressure, being down over 20%. When we take a look at our daily chart, you can see right away from the RSI down below, it is right around 51.61. So right there in the middle, but it has been on quite the downtrend from where we were. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here, we have strength above the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and we are below the 21-day EMA. So this is part of the reasons why I feel like there's still some more downside risk for OCGN. So as far as where we tested in regard to support, we had it right here at around $9.55 on the day. So you're going to want to see a continuation of this going into tomorrow, most preferably. If this area does ever decide to end up breaking, then the next area that you want to keep an eye on will be right here around this $9 level, so right at $9. If $9 can't hold, then of course we're easily going to be going into the 8s. As far as for the bullish case scenario, it would be to hold up the $10 level. We would have some resistance if we tried to make a move to 11, because I could see many people wanting to sell. But if we had that buying pressure and that volume coming through the stock, then hey, we could fill in this gap right here to where we could reach up to $12.76. From what it's looking like at this point, it looks like we might continue to pull back, but of course I will not be adding to a position whatsoever. I rather wait for the price to actually stabilize itself and then seeing where we can go from there. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for OCGN. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we see the filings for November the 4th, what you can see here, we have Tortoise Investment Management LLC that purchased 500 shares, and we do have some closed positions from Capital Analysts and as well as Larson Financial Group. Now when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 55.25%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 52 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.2 million, updated 5 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2.65%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the second, it was at 46.90, and then for the close of the third, which was yesterday, being up to 55.25. So what this tells us right away, there's a lot of negative market sentiment around OCGN stock, and as far as short sellers are concerned, they see a lot more downside, and this is part of the reasons why I'm not surprised that they increased their position. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So when we see here on the inflow is 210, and on the outflow it was 198. When we take a look at the breakdown, we had 4.75 on the large, we had 145 on the medium, and then we had 60.12 on the small. When we take a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0.62, and then on the medium it was 141, and then on the small it was 56.43. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for November the 4th it being at 4,131.06. So you could see for the past 5 trading days we have 4 inflow days in a row for the large scale orders. And then when we take a look at the breakdown as far as for the small, what tends to represent the retail side, we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And as far as for the medium side, you can see it looks fairly similar with 145 versus 141, but we still had more inflow. And then when we take a look at the large, big time difference there with 4.75 versus 0.62. So institutions that have been loading up on shares. And I know I'm going to get that question. So if the inflow is looking really strong, why is the stock going down? And you know what? We know this play is exposed to a lot of manipulation due to the fact there's a lot of shorts who are inside of this play. So this is why I'm going to continue to keep an eye on it and make sure I keep you guys informed. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, we could see here it was at 48.69%. So that is fairly high. So there was a good amount of selling that was happening. But we also did have many people who were buying up the dip. And this is just going off the numbers that we just talked about. But as far as traders being in this play, I would not be surprised either, because they see, hey, this stock has been on quite the downtrend. They're going to take advantage of shorting it, buying puts and so forth. I know many of you guys are already aware of that, but I'm just bringing it to your attention, especially for the people that may not know about this. And it's part of the reasons why this downtrend has been accelerated very quickly. And it's why I emphasize, even when you take a look at the 1 year chart, or I should say the daily chart to be exact, you can see OCGN is well known to have these strong pops and then it sells off afterwards. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, so what I want to see going into tomorrow, can it hold up the $9 level? I saw that it was selling off even further inside of the after hours. So this is why I feel as far as $9 is concerned, if we have a dip going into tomorrow, I want to see that hold. And if it doesn't hold, then of course you know where this stock can go, because we covered it inside of the technicals. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So if we have that buying volume coming back into the stock, then of course we can look forward to seeing some strong moves to the upside. But if we have selling happening on the retail side, or we have this manipulation that is continuing, then you could see the stock continue to pull back. And as far as answering the question, hey, is now the right time to actually buy the dip? I would say, you know what, not really. And the main reason behind that is you want to wait for the price to actually find itself. You want it to stabilize. You don't want to add to your position in the middle of a falling knife. And I want to make sure that I really emphasize this. So when I decide to actually get back into a position for OCGN, I'm going to be waiting to see, okay, what is the price going to be looking like? Will it be at the $7 level? Will it be at the $6 level? This is what we're trying to figure out. I know there's other catalysts that are going to be coming through, and I know many of you are saying, well, you know what, I want to get in my position before these catalysts come out. And you know what, that is perfectly fine, as long as you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence and you know the risks that are involved. But I just know for myself personally, and if anybody was going to ask me that question, I would wait to see see the price stabilize. That is very key here because you want to make sure you're maximizing your overall position so you can maximize those profits when the stock does jump up. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and we'll be talking real soon.